Hi, folks. Thanks for joining. We're here with the maskless women of Southern Oregon and the ladies of faith and freedom and the Wake Up Southern Oregon show. We're here with Cassidy, Megan, April, and Amy. Take it away, guys.
So we wanted to talk about the rally. We had a rally in front of Asante, and I know I was pretty excited when I left. It actually made all the energy and time that we spend away from our families or meeting and discussing, it made it worthwhile. So I went home pumped up. Yeah. I know at the rally, when we showed up, there was already people there an hour ahead, because when they came, there was at least a couple hundred people standing on the corner up there. And then I talked the girls later into driving around in the vehicle so we could really see the faces. And there was people that were yelling Megan's name and Cassidy's name and April's name. So we're getting well known. And I think for a good cause, because, you know, we're really careful about making sure that people understand we're not putting our convictions on you. We're just saying for us, we would like freedom of medical choice and freedom altogether.
And really to stand up for a minority class of people at employers that are not experiencing a good time with their rights and their employer and the state of Oregon.
They're being bullied. Yeah, and it was we expected a few hundred people to be there, but it ended up being over 2,000. And what was really cool is we had a prayer walk at 4:45 right beforehand, and I think it was 4:40 we showed up, and there was already a couple hundred people probably, right?
Mm-hmm. It literally brought us to tears, I would say.
Yeah,
I want to say there was 2,000 on the street, but there was more like 3,000 driving by. Yeah. So, and that's...
Yeah, I heard somebody counted about 1,000 cars, and
exactly.
there were a lot of people in some of those cars.
It was amazing.
It was amazing. And speaking of tears, that's what that rally did. That's what these gatherings do. That's what the point is to rally people together who want to stand up together. And there were nurses crying, literally crying, saying, "I thought I was alone." And so much feedback. Wow. I know our phones, our social media was blowing up during and after, people saying, you know what, I thought I was alone, and now I have hope. Now I have hope that we can stand up to this together, and when are we doing the next one? And so, just so y'all know, everyone's asking, when are we doing the next one? When are we doing the next one? People need this, and so it's really important that you show up.
It's affecting a lot of people. Since that rally, teachers are now part of that situation, federal workers, state workers. It's bleeding down to all of our first responders, firemen, paramedics, ambulance drivers. It's a large section of who serves our community, and it's maybe a small section of some of those and a large section of a few. I know firefighters weren't happy about it.
Yeah. And it wasn't just, that was actually a rally for healthcare workers, and we got texts from people that were inside the hospital. I know I did, while it was going on, encouraging us and really thankful that we were out there. There was a misconception before we showed up that it was against healthcare workers, when in fact we did this for them because of all the requests that we got from nurses and providers and all these healthcare workers.
There was, I would even, I don't usually use the word hate much, but there was some hate too, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was.
But the hate is always way louder than the number
exactly
behind it.
Well, and most of the hate that we caught came from within the hospital.
Absolutely.
That was very interesting. And there was actually, the only threats that we got came from within the hospital. So that's interesting as well. And that's the truth.
The cancellation attacks on my business definitely came from inside the hospital. And I'll leave them unnamed because the hospital made them stop. But we've heard some pretty rough. We've heard some pretty rough stories from inside the hospital about what's said by certain nurses and doctors. Not everybody, and we love the medical industry, so that makes me sad.
We need them. We need you.
Yeah, and it turned out better than we could have expected. We left that place cleaner than when we found it. It was one of the most peaceful meetups I've ever been to. Everybody that was honking, I think out of the 3 hours we were there, 3 people flipped us off. Everybody else
there were lots of thumbs up and some other digits, right?
Yeah. That's okay.
Hey, I was gonna ask you guys because sometimes people that don't agree maybe think we're there to create hate or anything like that. How would you characterize, talk amongst yourselves, the general feeling and the general attitude of the people there?
Well, I'll say this first to lead you guys off. My daughter, who is 15, was there with her sign. And when we were leaving, she said, Mom, that was better than the 4th of July. Yeah. It was so patriotic. Wow. It was so positive. It was so moving to see people come together like that. So
now it has been 10 days since then, hasn't it? Or pretty close?
Wow, already.
Yeah. And I know there were lots of, you guys are, super spread, all the big media buzzwords, super spreaders.
Death Karens.
I talked to
Death Karens.
I talked to hundreds of people a week, hundreds of, if not probably more than 1,000 some weeks, and I asked, did you go to the rally? How are you feeling? You didn't get sick or anything, right? I haven't been able to find anybody. That doesn't mean there wasn't. I'm just saying it's not as big a deal as people made it out to be.
Yeah, I had nurses that were coming up to me. I mean, there was a lot of people out there in their scrubs that were crying. I had grown men come up to me and say I was crying almost and tearing up the entire time. So this was needed for sure.
And there were doctors there, everything. But what I was going to say is that the crowd was not just one. They don't just all stand together, maybe politically.
No,
they came together for freedom. There were people from all walks of life at that rally.
Absolutely, it was a pretty good cross section of freedom-loving society in Southern Oregon, I thought. And people from outside the area, you guys were telling me?
Oh, yeah.
People were traveling
from all over the state.
Or somebody here from Idaho. Wow.
Yeah. And it's because so that should probably lead us into
the next one.
Our next shebang.
Meetup.
Yeah.
For teachers and faculty and anyone who wants to stand for freedom, we need to do this. It affects us all. I think it's so important that we get the word out, and we have been, and we want you all to. Go ahead, Megan, tell us when it is.
Okay, so it's a Southern Oregon Meetup and Rolling Rally to support teacher and school staff job and medical rights. And it's going to be Wednesday, September 8th at 6 o'clock, and it's going to be on Biddle Road. It's going to be at the Medford, outside on the streets on Biddle Road at the Medford School District office. And we want this to be as big as it was. Bigger outside of Asante, because this is in support of teachers, this specific one, but we want everybody showing up. We're calling all counties to come and to unite, and people need this.
And if you have friends in neighboring counties, Klamath, Douglas, Josephine, Coos County, reach out to them. Put together a caravan. Come on over. We're your neighbors. We love you. You're in the same situation. Come meet up with us and enjoy a rally that will be a positive attitude, but looking out for those who aren't being looked out for right now.
Yeah, this is a stand for all school districts, for all teachers who are facing this, and educators, faculty, whoever works for the school district really is.
Well, and healthcare workers to join with this one, because I know teachers joined with that rally. So I think it's everybody's jobs. And I was talking to a nurse and I said, even if we're best friends and we're both nurses and she chooses something that I choose differently, we're still friends, and it's not about that. But she should also want to stand for the rights that I have. So medical freedom is a huge thing that we don't want to go away. And we only did these rallies because I'd explained to a lot of friends, we had so much anonymous letters that as a group we're like, man, should we do a rally for the hospital? Yeah, we should, because we can be the voice for them right now through us, while they can stay anonymous and see how far this is getting pushed. Because I know the people I'm talking to, which are state troopers, federal employees, nurses, teachers, they all just were like, how far is this going to go? Because I think we all keep thinking that, like, surely they can't push this further. Oh, surely this is just talk. Oh, I can use an exemption of this kind or that kind. So I think now is the pivotal time that I've been telling people to stand. Otherwise, this is going to be your kids' problem. Yep. This is something we have to stand for now. It's a pivotal time. And if we don't, then our freedoms are going to be gone. And then when
it's a slippery slope. They've been eroding for quite a while. And this is kind of the pinnacle of where the buck needs to stop here. People need to stand up for their rights. And, if you're watching this right now or listening to it and you completely disagree with us and you think we're super spreaders and those kind of things, hey, I understand. You have your own convictions as well. And I can tell you, if the situation was reversed, we'd be there standing up for your rights right now. And we love you no differently. So,
and that's what we're doing. We're standing up for your rights right now.
Yep.
It's not
this
when,
is not
it's
anti-vax. It's not anti-mask.
This is for everyone.
Yes. In fact, we had people at that last rally wearing. Some of them were wearing masks.
And that's
because that was their choice.
People that have health conditions and things like that probably should wear a mask at this time. We don't want them to get sick, that's for sure. But as far as I know, we still live in a free country, and I'm entitled to my own opinion and to use my body how I want. And right now, that might be a cheeseburger, but that's still up to me.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
let's talk about promoting this, because I feel like the reason why we had over 2,000, close to 3,000 people coming is because of how much this was shared.
Yes.
So we are going to have a flyer at Southern Oregon First that people, and we'll have a link available. We'll have a flyer that is going to be shareable, and we are definitely posting it to our Maskless Women of Southern Oregon page, and we're encouraging people to pass that around. And so, we got looks like this right there.
So that is a
Yeah.
2 per page PDF that you can print out at home or print out at Staples or Office Depot or those kind of things at a copy shop, and cut it in half and be able to pass it around. Those have been passed around schools for about 4 days now, quietly,
Yes.
because I'm not trying to create a commotion there, but there are teachers that felt alone. And I have to tell you guys real quick before you talk more about the flyer and the event, that this affects me personally deeply. I have 2 relatives very close to me, my wife and my daughter, that work at schools, and it's a lot of stress on teachers right now. They went to school for a certain kind of thing. They expected to serve kids. That's what it comes down to. And this isn't about serving kids right now.
No, it's not.
Well, that's the whole reason we're doing this, because we've had teachers, just like we did the rally in front of Asante, because we had nurses reaching out to us and really begging us to help and to help them stand. Now we've had teachers doing the same. Hundreds, over 500, maybe even close to 1,000 at this
Absolutely.
point in the valley.
And so what this needs to be is a stand, but we also have to show teachers that they're not alone. Because the one thing we're hearing left and right is, I thought I was the only one at my school. Yeah. I thought I was the only one who felt this way. And we have hundreds and hundreds of teachers who just want to have a choice and what they put in their body.
I want to quantify that, because I'm the guy that always gets called out about statistics, because I like statistics, so I use them. We have hundreds of teachers that were in a private group against this before we met them. So there really are hundreds of teachers that do not want this.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Just for the record, because I know that we get a lot of heat for these things because people think it's our idea. We think it's great, and that's why we're doing it. But it is people of the community who really want this. Yeah. And it was that group who specifically said, we've got to put something on the calendar. And so we're all in.
Social media, the power of social media right now, I really feel like that's a huge part of why that meetup was so huge at Asante. Share this to your Facebook pages. Encourage your friends and family to share it. Share it to your Instagram. Pass out flyers. I know that we passed out some flyers to some of the medical offices. We actually physically handed it to them.
To about 50.
And encourage your friends and family to do the same. That meetup was so huge because of word of mouth.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So it's really, really important.
Absolutely.
That everybody participate.
And we should probably talk ego. Everybody has an ego, but really, people coming to us, whether it be you ladies or myself or somebody else that's involved with us, completely grief-stricken with what's going on, and asking how we can help. That plays heavy on all our hearts. I know we've talked about it before by phone and by Zoom, that what can we do for these people? I feel so bad for them. This is about leveraging our access to social media to provide a little bit of leverage in a world where the media is not controlled by the people.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I know we wanted to possibly read a couple testimonies. I know that when we read testimonies for the Asante meetup, we had a lot of people thanking us for that. That was a big part of why people came. And I know I had a nurse come up to me afterwards and said, you guys reading those testimonies, I've been a nurse for 30 years. That really blessed my heart. I really want you guys to keep doing that. So we thought it would be impactful to maybe read a couple of teacher testimonies and how this has impacted their lives.
Wonderful.
Want me to start?
Yeah.
Okay, this one got sent to me. I'm being told by my Oregon governor that she knows better how I should manage my health. I disagree, though I support anyone who chooses any vaccine or medicines for themselves. Further, I have God living in me as promised by Jesus Christ in Acts chapter 1 of the Holy Bible. Why should I poison myself and God? My final thoughts are the mandatory vaccines are criminal. There is a myriad of evidence that the COVID-19 mRNA vaccine not only has declined in efficiency, but that it kills children by causing myocarditis. Further, vaccines are supposed to be administered by a doctor following consultation and testing the patient for COVID antibodies, not the coverse where people drive up with their arms out and get injected by workers shielded from lawsuits. Why? Ultimately, Medford School District, Oregon, and the United States will lose an experienced teacher who can identify personally with struggling students through forced vaccines. And I am one of several in just one school in this valley.
Did you have one?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So this is someone who was actually a new teacher, or was supposed to be a new teacher. As I sat in training to prepare as a new teacher after I worked so hard for the last few years, I received an update of the new mandate knocking on my front door. I removed myself from the training because I was upset. I called my husband, feeling defeated, conflicted, and enraged. He told me to make them fire me and to stay true to who I am. As I finished the day in my classroom cleaning, organizing, decorating, and lesson planning, I found tears rolling down my face because it has been decided for me that I'm not fit to make my own health decisions, that my body is no longer seen as mine to dictate. But this is not the end. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the beginning of our fight. I respect many have troubling times ahead of them and the uncertainty of supporting your family. But I must say, I'm here with you. We are here with you in support of you. Additionally, do not quit. Make them push you out. Stay strong, stand true, and keep that stiff upper lip. God is good, and he has a plan. He does not fight for us, but gives us the strength to fight for those who cannot for themselves. My heart still breaks, but clarity has never been so clear.
Yeah. This one's kind of long. I'm not going to paraphrase. I'm going to read exactly what she said, but this is an email I got, and it goes into a lot of the details of what's going on and the decisions that they're facing. But this paragraph I thought was important, and here's why. I'm going to read it first. We are not legal experts. People who are filing exemption forms are trying to find the legal wording, but even then, many are growing weary with the additional and segregated conditions being placed on those claiming exemptions. Plus, there is a weariness over the term exception versus federally protected term exemption. This is such a big deal. And now we're talking segregation. I mean, teachers who are choosing to not get the vax are being segregated, and they're literally being treated differently. And it's very, very scary. This is the beginning of something that we definitely do not want. And right now it's getting tested every week. I've heard a lot of things that could be happening. I mean, I don't want to speak about anything that I don't know is factual, but this is why we're here.
Well, and now no unemployment. So if these workers that were going to stay and see how far they're going to push it and group together, which I know we are the majority, it's a big majority, now you can't get the unemployment. So they can't even take that time to relocate or go find a different job. And my phone's been blown up like your guys's, and it's heartbreaking. And these are even, I'll say, people that are pretty high up in the industry they work in, whether it's police or whatever. They're calling me with like, what do you guys have? And what, there's several of us. And so it's heartbreaking to be reached out to, and, I just keep emboldening them. Like, this is what the time to stand.
Yeah.
I have a couple that I would like to read. Actually, it's one, but it's from a gentleman that's a teacher and his girlfriend. I'm going to use the name Ricardo. Hi, Ryan. Sorry to take up your time, but I am a member of the scanner page you run. I work in education and have 2 weeks to either get a vax exemption letter or lose my job. I don't want to take the vax for multiple reasons, but I also have a medical reason that I should be able to get an exemption for. However, I've spent the past 3 days calling doctors in the area, and not a single one is writing exemption letters due to pressure from medical boards. I was wondering, with your vast knowledge of the Valley, do you know any doctors who are writing letters or heard any rumors of who might be? There are some naturopaths who are, but the district has said it must be an MD or a DO to be acceptable. And in just a second, he posted a couple of pictures. I work at X school in X school district, so with my girlfriend who works as an EA as well. She's in the same boat. Since we are both EAs and not teachers, we do not have much bargaining power. They can replace us pretty easily. My girlfriend has a lot of education experience and has been an EA this year just to take a break. She and a teacher at a school have been in talks and starting their own school as well. No steps taken yet, but we're scared. I'm hoping to try a religious exemption, but the district put out a notice yesterday saying that a statement of faith is not enough. They have not told us the requirements yet or given us any forms, even though the deadline to turn them in is 2 weeks away. But it's sounding like they will be needing proof of faith, probably letters from a church pastor stating our involvement and such, which we don't have. We have our minds and we have our own philosophies, and they are somewhat religious. They're intentionally stringing us along without providing us any documents. They're requiring it in the first place, but haven't given us any way to do that. I'm sure that they are doing it intentionally. If they keep waiting, then no one will be able to get a doctor's appointment on short notice or get paper together. It's so wrong, and we don't know what to do.
And here's the thing, I know we probably have to wrap this up here soon, but I know in this valley we are very divided right now, and we may disagree on a lot of things, right? But I think we can all agree that we cannot lose 30% of our healthcare workers, our firefighters, our police officers, our educators. I would hope that we could all come to that agreement that can't happen. It's not like we necessarily have the answers here, but this is not the answer.
That is chaos. This area has had all of those services for more than 100 years.
It would be.
And we keep hearing that number, 30%. If 30% will stand in each group, that they will have to listen more. And that comes from even, meetings on the inside of different places. They keep saying the 30%, if that many responders stand together. But I'm like you. I mean, I remember asking the nurse on the walk, I said, I'm just not even understanding, because I'm of the thought, if like I said, if we're best friends and April wants to get it and I don't, that I would even stand in her court against my boss saying, my friend doesn't want it, but she's a great teacher or she's a great nurse, and we can't afford to lose her.
My wife has perfect reviews, more than a decade of service. Yeah. She trains other people to do what she does. Her principal knows they would be in a world of hurt if she's gone, but that's not really what it's about. She likes her job and she likes serving the school, and that's really what it should be about. We're to a point where we need what's called united noncompliance. Yes. That's where we all unite and don't comply with unjust and illegal orders. And when we think of united noncompliance, none of you are losing a job, right?
No.
I'm not losing a job. I work for myself. That's us standing with those that are being hurt.
Yes.
Yeah.
And helping them not comply.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And we've talked about that. We don't even have kids in the public school system. So we've literally had meetings with each other like, okay, there's fires here with healthcare, there's fires in schools, there's fires here. Which ones do we want to get involved in? Because it does turn into a full-time job. And then we're like, well, now teachers want to speak through us. And so we're a good conduit for that. But I mean, there's times we even think about like, how far do we want to go into things when we're not even involved? None of us are losing jobs.
I'm willing to go all the way.
I could just spend all my time in my day job at my business making money. And I prefer to make less money and leave something for my unborn great-grandchildren.
Yeah. And Ryan, you hit the nail on the head when you said we have to stand together, united noncompliance. That is the only way we're going to see change.
It's the only way.
I see it on pages like Open Oregon, like Southern Oregon First, where people are saying, giving their testimonies of, I went into the stores without a mask today, you guys. All it takes is just not doing it. That is all it takes, is just standing up, saying no, I will not comply. I'm done. We're done. We need to be done. And until we come together, and I feel like that is happening. We're seeing that happen through these rallies. We're seeing just how many people are done. And that's what it's going to take.
It is. So folks, thanks for listening. And if you can find it into your hearts to support teachers and school workers on September 8th at 6 p.m. in front of the Medford School District office on Biddle Road. It's 680 Biddle Road. We'd love to see you there. If you can get out on the sidewalk with signs, American flags, and that kind of stuff, that would be awesome. And it's also a rolling rally, so if you're not one to stand on the sidewalk, we hope to see you driving by honking, and feel free to decorate your cars. It was pretty cool seeing that.
Absolutely.
Everybody share.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Share.